Gather around, friends, new and old, and welcome to the POWWOW podcast. I am your host, Philip.
And I'm your other host, David.
Oh, it's been a rough week. A rough week for both of us for
Very similar reasons, right?
For very similar reasons, yes. Are you okay with saying yours?
Yeah, sure. I don't care.
I caught COVID, and as we do with every week in the POWWOW podcast, we joined each other, brothers in arms, linked bicep to linked to bicep, and you went and caught it yourself. You couldn't live with yourself.
We're in constant contact. It was inevitable if you got it, I would get it, right?
Of course, naturally.
Transmitted through the internet, but yes.
Yes, you couldn't live with yourself without catching it right after I did. So you said, you know what? Come at me, bro. And
out of sympathy,
really, yes.
Yeah.
But we've had different cases. Yours has been more mild than what I would say mine is, and mine wasn't too terribly bad. I'm glad. Just glad for to be here, happy, healthy on the other side of it. Now just finishing up my quarantining and so on and so forth. But besides that, any fun news, notes, tidbits for you, David?
Not at all. I mean, the last several days has been just being with COVID, having to stay home. It's actually the first time I've gotten it. Well,
same.
Officially that I know of. I still have a theory that I had it in January of 2020. But I hadn't had it yet, and all of a sudden, here I am. But it was very mild, like really strangely mild. But yeah, I'm all good now, so move on with life.
Yeah, so let's move on with life that is as random as catching COVID. Let's go to something else that's pretty random.
Our main topic today concerns, well, you, I guess. We went to Instagram and thought we'd ask you guys for your contributions to this week's episode by just asking you for random words. So if you remember back to last Monday, whenever you're listening to this, Monday, the 25th of April, you might have seen on the stories, we just asked for random words, and boy, did we get some random words from you guys. And so I've compiled them all. Some of them make...
Yes, you'd have. I have yet to see them.
Right. Some of them make more sense than others, and some of them are randomer than others, but I've put them into a special machine that has created a digital spin wheel for me. What we're going to do is spin the wheel.
Ooh.
And then we'll take it in turns, taking whatever word pops up, and one of whoever's turn it is will have to ask the other a question relating to whatever word or including whatever word we landed
pops up. Yes.
So, shall I spin the wheel, or do you have anything to add?
I have nothing really to add. Hopefully, you guys are as gracious and merciful as I believe the POWWOW audience to be. So let's give it a spin, and I'll start us out.
Yeah, I will admit there may be some words here we might have to look at the dictionary for.
Okay.
Here we go. Phil, your word is shady. Don't you come up with a question for me that stems from the word shady?
David, once you have a friend who turns out to be a bit, shall we say, shady, at that point, continue to be their friend? Or is that something that you just take in stride?
When you say shady, you mean like they get up to illegal stuff, or...
Well, I guess whatever your interpretation of shady is, right? We all have... So I guess expound upon your definition of shady.
Yeah, that's what I would interpret that to be. So if you say I've made a friend and they turn out to be shadier than I thought, then I'm taking that to mean that they get up to some things that I'm less than comfortable with, in which case I would certainly try to distance myself from them without making it seem like if they're a dangerous person, I don't want to be like, I'm done with you, I don't want to be your friend anymore. I want to be like, sorry, bro, love to hang out, but I'm busy. Maybe hang out with someone else, I just try to distance myself carefully from them. You never know how who might take things the wrong way. So yes, I would probably distance myself. All right, let's spin the magic wheel once again.
Oh wow, look at that part, it glows.
My word is ankles.
Oh.
Phil, if you were dating someone and the first time that you saw them naked, would anything about their ankles ever be able to be a deal breaker for you? They just have the grossest ankles.
My first inclination was no, because I think I speak for a wide net of men who can honestly say that ankles and below, I don't think we really care about shoes or what other people's feet are. Not every man. Some do, but anyways. So my first inclination was no, but then I thought of it. David, if there's just like a soul patch on each ankle, I don't know that I can get over that. I don't know if my tender little heart can just say, you know what, this is like a little putting green for me. I just enjoy it, and it's fine for what it is. No, I don't know if I don't know if I'm above that, man. So I guess if it was so egregious like that, maybe I wouldn't be able to. I don't even think that's physically possible. I guess everything's physically possible, but outside of a hairy soul patch upon each ankle, or even just one, I don't even know what's worse, both or just one, I think I can live with veiny, skinny, wide, lack thereof ankles. I'm a lover of ankles, man, except for the hair. The hair is what gets me there. Spin me! Look at that part. Is that scented? Ooh.
Phil, your next word is putrid.
So, David, when giving the French kiss to the lower extremities of a woman, have you ever come upon either a smell, sight, or taste that is putrid, that one would consider putrid?
God.
And how did you deal with it, if so?
It's not a question I thought I'd be answering today.
And I didn't think I'd be asking it. I'm going to be honest.
Yeah, listeners, you did this.
Yeah, this is all your fault.
I trust my mother has skipped ahead by this point.
Yeah, Mom, please just forgive me.
Have I ever that I would describe as putrid? No, definitely not. Putrid, I feel like is quite a severe word.
That is.
So
that's almost abominable. That's like
there's been more pleasant and less pleasant, but never anything bad. Sometimes it's nicer than others, but never anything bad. Certainly not putrid. I do not look forward to that day, should it ever come, and I hope it doesn't. So no, let's spin this wheel again and get past the putrid nether regions.
Yes.
Okay, my word is Egyptian. Phil, on an Egyptian vacation, would you rather do the dirty deed on top of one of the pyramids or inside one of the pyramids? And let me be clear, no one is watching.
Darn. That is interesting. Is there a preference at night, morning, as far as on top of the pyramid?
At night. We'll say at night. So no one can see you and you're not in the blazing sun.
I think I'm going to have to go with on top, and here's why. Being inside of a pyramid, I want to be of my full faculties. I want to be of my full senses. And to be enthralled seems like you're just asking for it. You're setting yourself up for the premise and a prompt within a horror film. Whereas at least if you're on top, outside of like the movie Jumper, I've never seen a film even take place on top of the pyramid. So it feels safe, feels like a view, like a sight. I bet it's a beautiful view.
Yeah.
And I could understand how the throes of passion could overcome some people who just got all sweaty and just walking up there and just, one more step, step.
You know what's also nice about the pyramids being on top is that you can't really fall all the way down. If you're going to fall off, you're only going to fall to the next rock.
Rung.
The next level of stone, yeah. So there you go. He would rather do the dirty deed on top of the pyramids.
I always...
Philip, your next word is extravagant.
This is an interesting one, David. Have you ever felt like you've been in a place of pure extravagance? Maybe at a ball of some sort, wearing a tux, where it wasn't comfortable extravagance, like not a wedding. A wedding isn't like extravagance per se. Like you've been in a palace. You've been in a place where every dish, as far as the eye could see, was out of your price range. What is the most extravagance you've ever been
Two
surrounded by?
things come to mind, and the first one is actually my high school prom, because we didn't
Really?
have our prom at the gym. It was quite fancy. We had our prom at a palace in a nearby town on the beach, a very very beautiful building, and yeah, it was every year we'd have our prom there, and we'd arrive in limos, all tuxed out and wearing, girls wearing their dresses, and we'd arrive at the prom uh, at this gorgeous palace, and we'd have a nice meal, and it was as extravagant as a prom gets, and some things went wildly wrong one year, or a few years in a row, I think, relating to alcohol and teenagers, as you would expect, and then that palace no longer welcomed our school back, but I
Oh,
had my prom there.
wow.
Yeah, yeah, it was bad. Anyway, and then there was this restaurant not in Cape Town, but in that region of South
Area.
Africa that I went to either before or after my uncle's wedding, and it was this one of these fancy fancy restaurants where every single plate is like this tiny little perfectly crafted
Piece of art.
dish.
Yeah.
Yeah, piece of art, really, and delicious, sure, but tiny. And we
Like a
got like
bite.
7, 8, 9 courses or something, but each one is so tiny. Now, I didn't pay for this. It was very extravagant. It seemed very extravagant. However, as many as there were, it still wasn't enough food. And it
You're
was
still
like,
hungry.
sure, it was delicious, but I was like, I would rather have one delicious plate of pasta or a pizza or, just anything that's like actually a meal. But like this thing was like, it was like 9 or 10 bites, and like I was like, no, it's still not enough. I'm sorry. So it was very extravagant, but not for me. Okay, my word is fries. Phil, is there any savory dish that is not enhanced by a side of fries?
Okay, so in order to answer this question and find the exception to the rule, because if we're all being honest here, fries are freaking delicious. Maybe that's the American in myself screaming out and just saying, "Blah, blah, blah, blah," but I do think fries are delicious. But in order to answer this correctly, I'm gonna go with like the average fry. And for me, the average fry is McDonald's fries, which are probably just a good standard of fry. If you have a worse fry than a McDonald's fry, it's not a very good fry. If it's better than that, exceptional fry. So I'm going with McDonald's as the tone setter and thinking what dish could possibly be offset by having McDonald's fries. And the only one that really comes to mind just off the top of my head, I don't think I would actually want fries with non-fried seafood. Think crabs, think lobster. Those are so tender and so juicy and just full of meat. I'd much rather have my potato mashed rather than fried because it feels like it would cheapen or take away from the quality that is the lobster or crab that I'm about to enjoy. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I'd say it makes sense.
Outside of that, though, even a steak. I was debating about a steak, and I was like, no, you know what? A steak? Freaking give me fries and a steak, and I'm all good. So that's about it, though.
Fair. Phil, your word is posterity.
All right, my last word is posterity.
Yeah.
Ooh, okay. So just because it popped into my head, what what body part or portion, be fair, would you want to keep in posterity for the rest of your days? So the rest of you ages, but whatever this is, no matter what you do, stays as tight, vibrant, and youthful as you are right now. There's a lot of different ways you can go with this. You can go, of course, physical with, your bootylicious little booty. You can take your 6-pack as it is right now. Or you can, I don't know if you have hair concerns. I don't think you do, but you can keep...
just to remain as it is now?
To remain as it is now and forevermore.
Not that I expect anything in the near future, but honestly, I am going to go with my manhood, because I don't want to ever have to use, like, when I'm 80, I would rather it functions as it does now than have to have Viagra or anything like that. So yeah, I'd probably go with that. In all honesty, like I'm just trying to be, because I feel like the rest of me is gonna age, sure, but I can try to keep fit, and I can try to I mean, I would be tempted to go with like my back. You don't want to injure your back.
That's true.
Yeah. Maybe I'll say that, actually. Yeah, my back.
You can't get nothing up if you're paralyzed.
Right.
Go ahead.
Exactly. Okay, my last one. Okay, well, my word is boss man, which is, as you know, the nickname. Well, if you listen to a few episodes back, the nickname afforded to me by the cast of the play I associate directed recently.
Yeah.
And obviously one of them submitted the word boss man. And so I guess I'll ask you this, Phil. Like boss man, to me, have you ever been given a nickname, and what was the story? A interesting or obscure nickname, and what was the story behind it?
It's the first one I can think of. There are a couple other ones, but they make more sense. Like Phil, Philly Cheese, Philosophers, probably the one that I probably would have gone with had I not. And I do think it actually kind of fits. But the one that kind of, that really, I think, would fit the obscure one, that wouldn't be easily identifiable with me. I might have happened to drop by and been to a friend's house and seen a poker game that was going on, David, that I just happened to catch an eyeful, and maybe I sat down at the table that everybody was playing at. Didn't play myself, David. Just want to make that clear. Did not play myself. But if I did, I'd want to feel like I'm one of the people. So I had what we call a card holder. Now, what that is in the game of poker, you have to hold on to your quote unquote hand. Now, a hand is not your actual hand. It's the 2 cards given to you in order to play poker. And it's called your hand. That's yours. And so you must at all times protect your hand. So in order to establish that these are your cards and that you're not ready to fold or throw your cards away, you have what are called card protectors. So something that you just place. It can be anything. I know a friend who puts like a replica of a diamond, like the Hope diamond on his. Some people just use chips from the table, some poker chips from the table. Others use keys. I happen to always have an eccentricity towards having fun little tidbits and toys to put on mine as a card holder. And so one day I was, again, just sitting down, and they accidentally dealt me some cards, and oh my goodness. And so I happened to put a card holder down on these cards that I was accidentally given. And for that time, I used a Yoshi racing car toy that I put on top of my cards for the night. And so for the rest of that night, everybody kept calling me Yoshi. At the end of the night, they're like, "Oh, you heading out, Yoshi?" I was like, yeah. And they're like, "Okay, well, yeah. I mean, I guess we never even asked. Do you like the name Yoshi?" I was like, "Yeah, it's whatever. You can call me Susie for as long as you get the point across you're talking to me. I'm pretty easygoing." And like, yeah, this guy, look at this guy taking the chips and his cards, and we don't even know that he's calling himself Yoshi. Like, he may hate it, and he might just like all of a sudden pop up and just say, "Hey, F you for calling me Yoshi all night. That's what you get," or something. And they always just all laugh. So that's one of the more innocuous nicknames that I ever got, was Yoshi.
I like it.
Yeah,
I like it. Yeah, I think it's a good nickname.
Yeah, there could have been worse nicknames that they gave to me, so I'm glad it certainly helped, and it's good. It's nice.
That's the main topic. Yeah, I do want to shout out a couple of these more interesting suggestions that did not come up.
Well, I for one think that we should do this again, and we might. I do
too. Yeah, I think it's fun
to go into the future. So maybe do you want to save them for the future?
No, I think they'll time out. I think we'll just ask again.
Okay, one more.
I think some of these are very interesting. Curated Rose Garden was one of them.
Oh, very nice.
Baba Booey. I like that one. Baba Booey. Separate people suggested soup.
Soup's great. Soup's wonderful.
Yeah, taradiddle. I don't know what that is, but very interesting. Taradiddle. And ampersand.
Ah, yes.
Ampersand came up. Among many others, very interesting, and maybe we'll hold on to them for next time as well. But yeah, let's move on.
This episode of POWWOW Podcast is sponsored by Sides.
Meet Sides, SIDES, an app that helps you take the law into your own hands.
Turn ordinary agreements into binding contracts in seconds. Then if a dispute arises, Sides will step in to resolve it for you.
Wait, Phil, that was supposed to be my line.
What did we agree to in the contract?
I don't know. I guess we can use Sides to settle this dispute, because each dispute costs a small one-time fee.
And if you win, which I will, it's all awarded back to you.
Sign up now and get 16% off for a limited time only.
All right, if we have any new listeners or fresh listeners for this coming into this part of the podcast, if you're not a familiar POWWOW listener, then you probably haven't heard my weird accent switching. And so you're going to get a treat today because we have, as a guest for our game section this week, we have Matt Bird, whom I lived with for 3 years at university in the UK where we met and have stayed friends. And actually, Matt, you live in, here we go with the switch. Matt, you live in LA now, and we've spent plenty of time in LA together as well. So we've lived in the UK, we've lived in LA together, and you're still there now.
I am.
And let's introduce yourself, Matt. What do you do for a living?
So I'm Matt. I live in Pasadena in Los Angeles. I have the privilege of doing that. So I work for a church called Vintage Church Pasadena, and I'm their youth pastor.
Nice.
That's what I do.
Very nice.
Super fun.
Well, welcome to POWWOW.
Thank you. It's so fun to be here. Look at this.
Yes. Hopefully the first of many, Matt. As a new guest, actually, really as any guest to the game, we try to get to know you. Since you are David's guest, he only gets one question. I get two. I get to be a little bit more nosy, Matt.
Okay. Nice.
I'll start us out here just to get to know you a little bit more. First question: would you say that eating food that is shaped to mimic something makes the food taste better, even slightly, a la a chocolate bunny to just a regular chocolate bar? A round chicken nugget compared to dino nuggies. Pancakes in the shape of hearts as opposed to just a circle. Does it make it taste any better to you, Matt?
I'm not sure it does, I think it's all a gimmick. I feel like if it's on the plate, it's there to be eaten. And if you spend too long looking at it, you're just more hungry, right? So like it might be as beautiful as you want it to be, but I'm not sure it doesn't improve the flavor for me, no.
All right. He doesn't eat with his eyes, just his stomach.
Just his stomach. Yeah, that's about right.
All right, Matt, have you ever stolen anything? Even if it's just from a friend or from your brother, perhaps. Have you ever stolen anything?
Oof.
Look at him. He's just wondering, what can I admit? What can I admit?
Well, I'm guilty there. I think when I was probably in 4th grade, and I think I stole the guys next to me had like the coolest pencil in the class, and I think I stole his pencil.
Yes.
Yeah, well, I think we've all done it, right? The friend who has that really cool one, and you borrow it. But you're never going to borrow it, and you just going to put it at the bottom of your pencil case, and then you're going to leave it there, and then you get home and you take it out, and it never goes back. So I think I'm guilty of that.
That's quite good.
It's not too serious.
Yes. All right, Matt, what is the worst betrayal you have ever felt? Now, keep in mind, you had 3 years living with David, so there's a lot of opportunity there.
The worst betrayal.
The worst betrayal you have ever felt.
Wow. Now, that's a question. That is a serious question. Let me think. The worst betrayal.
I'll fill in the time. The worst betrayal that I ever felt from Matt was when he helped himself to a bowl of my Crunchy Nut cereal. And if you're not from the UK, amazing. You don't know Crunchy Nut. Crunchy Nut is the best cereal
ever. Unbelievable.
Yeah, nothing from the US can compete.
It's not like anything in the US. No, like it's not like Honey Nut or no.
It is unique. Crunchy Nut. And he helped himself. And that's not the betrayal. The betrayal was that he left the box wide open. He didn't seal the packet. And it was like, I was away for the week, and I got back, and my big, giant box of Crunchy Nut was stale. It was stale.
Can I just say, I've never seen you more upset ever in my life than when you walked into the kitchen and you knew I'd taken some of your Crunchy Nut. And you knew it was me.
It was open. I was like, who had Crunchy Nut and didn't seal the packet?
Yeah. And I remember at the time, like, I think I owned up to it really quickly.
Yeah.
And I think I remember owning up to it going like, why did you do that? Like, it was so mad. Like, why didn't you just let it ride? Give him a couple of days to cool off and then say, I'm really sorry, David, it was me. But in that moment, it was, in that kitchen in Guildford.
If that is not the most David Hoffman story I've ever heard, getting pissed off over somebody, you could have done a bunch of things.
Like, I didn't mind him having some.
Yeah,
I love to share.
That's right.
Yeah.
But you don't. Oh,
well, I knew
you
you
don't
loved
let
to
my
share.
Crunchy
That's
Nut
why
go
I
stale.
took some.
All right, Matt, what about you?
I am struggling with betrayal right here.
We all struggle with betrayal, really.
I feel like betrayal's like one of those things. I think I'm quite blessed in life to have not had too many like obvious betrayals that are singing out to me. I feel like we've all had the party one, when you go on Instagram and all your friends are at the party. But I can't get more specific than that, that feeling of like, oh, why wasn't I invited to that? I feel like there was a few of those at college, which was never the funnest experience. But yeah, that's probably the biggest betrayal.
Okay.
Yeah, I can probably get to today.
That's good.
Maybe on another time I'll come up with a better story, but not.
Yeah, next time we have you on for a game, you'll be like, all right, by the way, forget these questions. I came up with a list of trauma. That's what I came with.
Yeah.
All right. Well, since you are David's guest, that also gives me the opportunity, Matt, to come up with the game. And it's a game that we've played before, but it's always new renditions. It's a game called Which Came First. You'll never guess how to play it, Matt, but we give you an option, or at least I give an option of one or the other. And it's up to both of you to decide whether or not which one came first, which event, which thing, which happening, whatever it is, which came first. Now, we will go through a list of 5 questions each, and then possibly a tiebreaker, because that is in the works here in a game such as this. So the question comes down to you, Matt. Who would you like to face off against first, me or Hoffman?
Hoffman.
He wants to face off against him first, so I will conduct the game first. Like I said, I have an option of one or the other, so it really doesn't matter which goes where. We might switch up the order depending on who's in the lead towards the end, but Matt, we'll start out with you first. Your first question of which came first. The first fax machine was invented versus the 4-wheeled roller skates were patented by James Plimpton of New York. Which came first, fax machine or 4-wheeled roller skates?
It's got to be roller skates, isn't it? Surely.
All right, roller skates goes to Matt. And how about you, Hoffman?
I agree, because I can imagine the fax machine would have been invented in probably the 1950s or 50s maybe. And then the roller skates probably, I don't know, maybe a decade before that in the 40s or 30s or earlier than that. I don't know. I'm pretty sure the roller skates were first.
Well, you both go for the exact same thing, and you both meet the exact same result of failure. It was actually the first fax machine, invented in 1843. It was Alexander Bain who invented the electric printing telegraph, the early foundational piece for what we know as the fax machine now.
Wow.
Of course, the 4-wheeled roller skates were invented in 1863, so quite a bit of difference there. All right, both no points, but we'll go first to Hoffman on this next one. Hoffman, Carl Benz builds a gasoline-engined car, or Samuel J. Benz invents the chainsaw. Which came first, gasoline-engined car or the chainsaw?
That's a tough one, because I only know the chainsaw to run on gasoline on essentially a 2-stroke cylinder, like an internal combustion engine. But I'm not sure. That's so interesting. Well, I mean, obviously modern chainsaws can run on electricity or whatever, but I guess I just guess I'm going to follow that train of thought and say that the Carl Benz invented the car, the gas-powered car first.
Okay, so he goes with the car first. Matt, do you follow suit behind David Hoffman's lead?
Am I allowed to ask a clarifying question? Is it like like a 2-stroke chainsaw? Is that what we're talking? Like a handheld?
all I have here is invents the chainsaw. So it's by Samuel J. Benz.
Invents the chainsaw. Okay. All right, I think I'm going to go car as well, because the car was like a bit earlier than that.
Once again, you both have the exact same result, but this time it leads to victory for both of you. That is a correct answer.
Okay.
Carl Benz built his gasoline-engined car in 1885, guys, whereas the chainsaw, 1905 for Samuel J. Benz. Next one, we go to Matt first here. The electric refrigerator is invented versus Willis Carrier pioneers the air conditioner. Or it could be Willis Carrier, to be completely honest. I don't know. But
how French do we think this man was?
Yeah, it's with a name like Willis, and it's not his first name.
It's Willie.
Willie
yes,
Carrier. Matt, electric fridge or the air conditioner?
I'm trying to work out in my head what I think's more complicated. But then I feel like they both kind of do the same thing, right? So, they, move air in a way that means things get cold. So I'm gonna go with the fridge.
He's gonna go with the fridge being invented first.
Would you like a reason, or shall I just?
Yes, go ahead.
Do you want a reason?
What's your reasoning?
Well, I feel like in a fridge you can have it big and in a basement, right? So, but if you want to AC a whole house, it's very hard. Whereas, like, if you want to just a room, it's a smaller space, right? It's easier.
Yeah, that sounds very scientific there, Matt. I love your way of thinking. Hoffman, do you follow the man's tried and true scientific theories?
Which will be wrong.
Now, I do want to, but I wonder if we might make it interesting, and I'll go with the AC.
All right, for the first time, you guys have split your vote. So that means one of you must be correct. And unfortunately, it is David Hoffman who is correct, as the air conditioner was invented in 1906. The electric fridge was invented in 1928. We go to
someone at some point realized, wait, hold on, we could apply this to a very small space. And keep our food cold.
Yeah, my meat will last longer in the fridge. There we go. That's good.
All right. First option here goes to you, Hoffman. Joseph, oh my goodness, I do not know how to say this name. Joseph Nicephore Niepce makes the first modern photograph versus Josephine Cochrane invents the dishwasher. Which came first, Hoffman? The photograph or the dishwasher?
But you said modern photograph. What does that even mean?
Makes the first modern photograph. That's all I've got for you. And it's by Joseph Nicephore Niepce. Niepce.
I would have to imagine that the photograph came first. Yeah, I'm going to say photograph first.
All right, he goes photograph first. Matt, crucial time for you here.
I know, I feel like I'm down really bad.
Yes,
here.
you are down one. Now you are down 1 point here. But it seems like you could take a chance now to possibly tie it or wait to make your move next. Big moment for you. Big strategical moment in history for you, Matt.
I mean, I think we're going to go dish or shot. I think we're going to split it. I think we're either going to go down fighting here. Let's go.
Okay, so Hoffman, you went with the photograph.
Yeah.
All right, and Matt went with the dishwasher. Matt, I'm sorry, you have already lost, and a 3-1 advantage goes to Hoffman, meaning our fifth and final question of which came first is all but for just respectability. That's really all it is. The first modern photograph came around in 1827 versus the dishwasher in 1886. So there we are. Question number 5, and we'll start with you, Matt, here, since it's just for respectability. The U.S. electrical engineer Eugene Pauly invents the TV remote control versus Douglas Engelbart's develops the computer mouse. So two extensions of our arm here, but which came first, the TV remote control or the computer mouse? Now, I will say these are the closest of any of the dates that I've had listed thus far, so it will be relatively hard.
So I reckon TV remote.
He goes with TV remote first. Any logic on this thought process?
So for me, I feel like the logic for me, which has been wrong this whole time, but we'll spill it anyway, is consumer demand. So there's probably more TVs earlier than there were loads of computers.
Okay, there we go.
In the 50s, they had more. TVs and computers.
Very, 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 very good thought. I'm thinking that the TV remote required wireless technology, whereas the first computer mouse wouldn't have. And so I'm gonna go with mouse.
Oh no.
All right, you guys split the vote, meaning either David extended his lead or Matt gained just despairingly closer. And unfortunately, it is the latter. Matt, you came so close. You got to 2 points here because the TV remote control came out in 1955, whereas the computer mouse came out in the 60s. There we are, guys. 3-2. Hoffman, you take a victory lap over Matt. You say, this is for all those nutty cereals that you made stale in our youth. All right, so it flips. And Matt, I'm going to need a favor of you to lose against me. That's what I need here. So let's go ahead to Hoffman's game.
Okay.
Let's move on to my game. And because you two are the two people in my life whom I think are the biggest lovers of sports, I themed my game the biggest lovers. Of sports.
Yes.
I thought I'd theme my game around sporting events throughout history. There's a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and I hope you guys enjoy. All right, so first of all, Phil, I'll remind you now, you have a skipping stone. Which came first? The first FIFA World Cup won by Brazil, or the first FIFA World Cup won by Germany, or rather West Germany as it was formerly known. So we'll go to Matt first, as you did, Phil. Matt, what do you reckon?
I'm gonna. So this is a tricky one. I think we're gonna roll with Brazil.
So Matt says Brazil won the World Cup first. Phil, what do you think?
Yeah, my thoughts were, I think Germany. I don't know where the thought process is here, but I think Germany just entered the soccer game later than Brazil. And I know Brazil is a powerhouse, and it feels like it's been a powerhouse for quite some time in FIFA. So I'm going to go with Brazil, thinking that they were better longer, even though I know Germany now is a force to be reckoned with these days.
Well, you both went the same way. You both said Brazil won first, and you're both wrong. Brazil first won in 1958. It was not their first final. I believe they were in the finals a few World Cups earlier. And Germany won the previous World Cup in 1954. So just separated by one World Cup, but you're both wrong. The score remains 0-0. We move on to the next question. Matt, you are English. Phil, you are a fan of the Denver Broncos. Which came first? England's first Rugby World Cup triumph, or the Denver Broncos' first Super Bowl triumph? Now, I know you both know when one of these were, but I'm banking on neither of you know when both of these were.
I won't give my reasonings, but until at least after Matt, or if at all. But I think...
So we could play a really naughty game where we both know which one's which, and then we could both win points. Yeah. I'm not sure.
Yeah. So what is it for England one more time? Is it their World Cup?
Yeah, the first Rugby World Cup.
Rugby. Oh, God. Then I really don't know. Oh, fudge me. Let's go with... I'm going to go with the rugby. I'm going to go with the rugby, English rugby.
Before the Denver Broncos' first Super Bowl triumph. Okay. Matt, what do you reckon?
I'm trying to think. Is it really tight?
I'm not going to tell you that.
Because I think it is really tight. I'm gonna go. I think I'm gonna go Broncos.
Oh, well, so we go opposite.
You guys each chose the other's favorite team.
Yeah.
One of you is obviously correct, and that person is Matt. The Denver Broncos' first Super Bowl triumph was in what year, Phil?
That was 90, because it was before the Ravens. That had to be 95?
No, 98. Well, it was the 97 season.
97,
1998 was when the Super Bowl was. And Matt, England won the World Cup in...
2003.
2003,
that's so gross. That's so gross. I just thinking English, and it's all just so old, and it's rugby. It's all so old. There's no way. I knew how modern I was like, there's no way. The 90s, it took all the way to the 90s for the English to get their act together. Come on.
When was the last Broncos win in a Super Bowl?
It was only a couple years ago. It was Super Bowl 50, which was now...
Yeah, it was 2015-16, I think. 2016 was when the Super Bowl was, I think.
When was the one before that?
That was
99.
Yeah. Okay.
They won in 98 and 99, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Wow. So the score is now 1-0 favoring Matt.
Let's
go. The next question, which came first, the official retirement of Michael Phelps or the official retirement of Usain Bolt?
Ooh.
And Matt, we're going to you first this time.
So official retirement is different to when they last won a medal, right?
Yes. Yes, I guess so, yeah.
So I want to say Bolt came first, but I don't know. This is a tough one. Too many medals to count between them, though.
So you're saying Bolt?
Yeah.
Bolt came first. Okay, Phil.
This is terrifying because I don't know which is better whenever he agrees with me or he doesn't. Because if I remember correctly, Michael Phelps was itching to go. I know he got caught, I think, in Rio with pot, and he was just like, I just wanted this, and he wanted to retire. He was like ready to retire, whereas I think Usain raced for a while. Like he was even doing like celebrity races and stuff. So I'm going to go with Michael Phelps and just bite my toenails with anticipation.
Okay, you both went in a different direction. Michael Phelps retired in 2016 at the Rio Olympics. He said, "This is it. I'm done." Yeah. Usain Bolt competed in the Rio Olympics, but injured himself the year after that at the World Championships, and only then retired. So the correct answer was Michael Phelps, which means that, Phil, you've tied the game back up at 1-1. Reminder, you still have a skipping stone.
I do still have a skipping stone. That's right, yes.
Okay, so the score is 1-1, and this is question 4. Which came first, the first Rugby World Cup or the first time the haka was performed prior to a New Zealand All Blacks rugby match? It is a tradition.
Skip the hell out of this.
Okay.
Jeez.
Phil, which way were you leaning? Which came first?
Seeing as how the haka is like a performance of the people, of a people's heritage, I would have to think the haka.
Okay, Matt, would you have known which one came first?
So the first Rugby World Cup was what, 1995?
No.
Oh. No?
No, 1987. 1987 was the first
sorry.
World Cup.
Yes, sorry. So the first professional one was 95, wasn't it?
No, that was the last non-professional one. But yes, go on.
I probably would go... I feel like the haka came later, didn't it, than everyone thinks it did. But I don't know why. So yeah. I'd probably go Rugby World Cup. We'd probably have divided that one.
Well, Phil, you should have kept it, I guess, because the first Rugby World Cup happened in 1987, as I said. The first time the haka was performed prior to a All Blacks rugby match was in 1888.
Oh, wow.
So, no.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, it did not come later than most people think.
Not by
Okay. Well, Phil, you decided to skip, so no matter. The score is still 1-1. Which came first? The first and only time the Chargers reached the Super Bowl.
Okay.
Or the last time the 49ers won the Super Bowl. And, we'll go to you first, Phil. Yeah.
So which came first? The Chargers reaching the Super Bowl or the 49ers what?
The last time they won the Super Bowl.
Oh, you're a dirty man. You are a dirty man.
Because of this question or just in general?
Because of this question. Well, yeah. No, I'm sorry. Both. Both is what I meant to say. Okay. I will go with...
Which one came first?
The 49ers winning.
Okay. Matt, what do you think? Which one came first? The first and last time the Chargers reached the Super Bowl or the last time...
Reached? Can I switch?
What?
I thought you said won. I thought you said won.
No, they've never won the Super Bowl.
They've never won. Yeah, even I know
the 49ers. I thought you said the 49ers last time they won.
No. Let me finish. The first and only time, the first and last time the Chargers reached the Super Bowl. The last time the 49ers won the Super Bowl.
Okay, sorry. I recuse myself. Excuse me.
Right. Okay. Oh, wow. So heated.
This is very important.
So what was your answer, Philip?
Mine was the 49ers.
Winning the Super Bowl.
Winning the Super Bowl. Okay. I think I have no idea. I think it's probably I'm just gonna go with the 49ers, I think, for this one. Let's do it.
You both went with the 49ers winning the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Now I really am a dirty man because
you really are.
Because this was the same Super Bowl.
Yes, it was.
Yeah. So it was the same Super Bowl, but technically the Chargers reached the Super Bowl before the 49ers won the thing.
That's
so
gross.
The correct answer was the Chargers reaching the Super Bowl came first. Unfortunately, neither of you got it right, which means that the game is still tied going into the final question.
So what year was that?
This was 95. Well, 95, the 94 season, 95 Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
That
would have given me so much joy if Matt had gotten that right and you had gotten that wrong. So, anyway.
Sorry, David. Sorry to disappoint you.
God, I felt like such an evil genius when I came up with that question.
I didn't follow the logic, but I knew where it was. So I was like, well, it has to be because it was one and the same. So I was like, how do I discern this? Anyways.
All right.
Well done.
This one comes with a little bit of a history lesson. This is more in depth. This final question. At the Olympics in Mexico, the issue of civil rights outshone the event itself as John Carlos and Tommy Smith took the victory stand after finishing third and first in the 200-meter sprint and gave the Black Power salute during the U.S. national anthem. The photograph of the two men with their fists in the air became one of the most influential images of the civil rights movement. Or, after World War II, the Chinese and U.S. relations grew cold because China's economy was turning towards the Soviet Union's. The relations got even more high-strung as the Korean War escalated. However, China and the Soviet Union didn't click with each other after all, so the spark between the U.S. and China reignited, and a well-publicized ping-pong match between the two countries was held at the World Table Tennis Championship, pushed things in the right direction. So which came first? That Olympics in Mexico or the televised ping pong match between China and the United States? And we're going to Matt first. I felt like the context was important.
The context is important. So I feel I want to say the ping pong game first.
Phil, what are you thinking? Will you go with the other option, or will you force a tiebreaker, or go with a tiebreaker rather, by choosing the same option?
Decisions.
I have so many decisions and thoughts going through my mind because in my mind I'm imagining, okay, well, I believe, which came first, I believe it's Mexico. But do I want to just possibly get the point and throw myself at the mercy of a Hoffman diabolical tiebreaker where I probably have to add up all the numbers of the years that were mentioned in this game. So it's going to be some innocuous number of 19, blobbity blob. And so just whatever number comes close to that. Do I throw myself at the mercy of that, or do I just take the chance now at Mexico? That's really where this all comes down to. But would he dare disrespect the game of ping pong? So in that case, I will... Matt, I will be joining you in ping pong bliss, and we will be going to a tiebreaker. Yes,
into the sunset.
You will be going
together.
to a tiebreaker. You were both wrong. So the Olympics in Mexico came first. That was in 1968, and the ping pong match was in 1971. So it's very close, but the Olympics came first. So the score remains 1-1. We go to the tiebreaker. Also sports related. In what year did South and North Korea last compete as one team in any Olympic sport? So, Phil, since you caught up to Matt, because Matt got his question right first.
That's right.
We'll have you go first. In what year? Closest wins, Matt. Just to be clear here, the closest wins. In what year did South and North Korea last compete as one team in any Olympic sport?
So it would be incredibly asinine and stupid of me to pick an odd number. Since
arguably not actually, because you could be sandwiched right between two.
That's true. So maybe that is the smart way to go about it. All right, let's go with, oh baby, let's go with 19. Good start, Philip. Let's go with 1989 and make Matt really think about what he has to do.
Okay, Matt. Would you go, well, what year do you think it was? You can go obviously higher or lower than that.
I feel like it was sooner than that, but I can't think of what or when.
You only have to be closer.
I only have to be closer. Okay, so I guess...
Oh, be fancy and guess the real date. It was probably 2011. That was a good year.
2012. Go for London. I'm gonna go like 2000. Let's just do it.
2000.
Let's come earlier.
Good man.
It shocked me when I read it. It was 2018.
Oh,
I know.
Oh, really?
Wow.
I mean, if you had asked me to guess this, I would have said 1960 something or 50 something. Pre-Korean War, but no, the ice hockey teams, they competed as one team at the 2018 Winter Olympics, and and it's considered one of the more monumental sporting moments in history. Very, very, very interesting. But yeah,
there we go.
There you go. So Matt,
who knew?
You have come away with victory.
which is quite shocking, but good. There we go. We've done it. Do I get a prize? What's my prize?
Yeah, your prize is next time I see you in California, I'll give you a prize is what I'll give you. But honestly, thank you, Matt. Very much appreciate you coming on.
So fun.
You've been a great sport. Yes, thank you. It's been a great pleasure and fun. Is there anything you would like to plug while you're on your way out?
There isn't, no. No, thank you for having me.
Well, thank you, Matt, and we'll see you around soon, I'm sure.
Perfect. Thanks, guys.
With that crushing loss, I go down to a record of 5-6, while David's win propels him up to my level at also a 5-6 record. Way to go. Well, that's a new open, so therefore, that must mean a new mini segment of ours, where I'm so very excited to introduce this. But David, as if we don't talk about ourselves enough, I came up with a little mini segment for us to try out. It's called Pop Quiz, and I want us each to give each other a little quiz, and it's either going to be over things that we know the other person should know about us, or we should know each other so well by now that it should be rather easy for us to get this question right. So let's start off with me, David. Based off of everything you know about me, which of these names is the actual name of my dog? Is it A, John, B, River, C, Elway, or D, Elton? John, River, Elway, Elton.
I know your dog to be named after John Elway, the quarterback of the Denver Broncos in the 1990s. And I can only imagine maybe your dog's full name might be John Elway, but I know you refer to the dog as Elway, so I'm going to say Elway.
Okay, that's fair. Yes, his name is indeed Elway, my little chihuahua. Love him. But yes, his name is Elway. Very good. I thought I could even stump you with Elton John there. So very good. Very good.
No.
Very good sidestepping. Your turn, sir.
In which of the following countries have I lived?
Oh, God.
Romania, Namibia, Zambia, or Hungary?
I think it's one of the Ibias. I'm going to go with Nibia.
Namibia? Nope, I've never lived in Namibia. I've never even been to Namibia.
Was it Hungary?
Nope.
Oh, God.
Any other guesses? There's only 2 left.
Only 2
Romania,
more.
Romania and Zambia.
It's got to be Zambia.
Nope.
Are you kidding me? That's hilarious.
I do have strong ties to Zambia. My family, a lot of my family is from there. But no, it's Romania. I lived there for a year when I was 11.
Oh, that's funny.
Okay, wow. Ooh, yeah, that slaps is here. Once again, we have some entertainment to recommend to you, the listener, whether it be a movie or a TV show or a song, whatever we happen to think it slaps from this past week. Phil, why don't you take it first?
In the spirit of the main topic, I put my normal playlist on random, and the first song that popped up I actually happened to enjoy, and I honestly don't know what other context this song would ever make it onto that slap. So, with no further ado, Amazing is the song name, and it is sung by George Michael. I think you might have heard of it, Hoffman.
Was that during your time?
Yeah. Yes. Was that during your time? Yes.
Do you want to explain that?
Sure.
Reference?
So for
no inside jokes on this podcast. Phil.
No, everything's out in the open, like our dirty laundry that is growing ever cleaner.
In this episode, yes, lots of dirty laundry,
lots, especially sheets. Anyways, so Amazing. This song is called Amazing, and for whatever reason, it was the summer of what would that have had to have been? 2019.
2019, yeah.
Yeah, the summer of 2019, and me, David Sampson, and David Hoffman, we were all just jamming to this song. Any and every excuse I had to play this song, I did. It just overtook us, and it would be funny. We'd just be going to the bathroom, and all of a sudden you just hear this soft da 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 da, and you just know that you had been amazing. And it's not astounding. It's just amazing. That's all it is, baby. So I assure you, go listen to it. It certainly slaps. It will be stuck with you. It has no right to be as good as it is, but it is certainly amazing, and it slaps.
So I'm actually going with a TV show this week. Now, this is a show that started out, it's one of those shows that's a different story every season, different characters, different actors, etc. For the most part, different actors. Now, the first season, it's called American Crime Story. The first season was about The People versus O.J. Simpson. So that's the one that was most popular. And you probably saw it. David Schwimmer played Robert Kardashian, and John Travolta played one of the other lawyers who defended O.J.
Cuba Gooding Jr. was O.J.
Yeah, so that one was fairly famous. Season 2 was about the assassination of Gianni Versace and Andrew Cunanan, who was an infamous serial murderer. That season, it was good, don't get me wrong, but it was a little disturbing. There was a lot of murder in it. Not that that's a problem. It's just it struck a very different tone to the first season. The third season is called Impeachment. And it is about Bill Clinton and all of Monica Lewinsky and Paula Jones and all the controversy around that. And it's very good. And I'm surprised at how well it's doing, considering that a lot of people remember that, and obviously these are characters, even people who weren't alive at the time know Bill Clinton. They know who he is, how he talks, his mannerisms. And so Clive Owen, of all people, plays Bill Clinton, which I think is very interesting. But he does a fine job of it. Sarah Paulson plays one of the lead characters, and she's fantastic. It's very well done, and I recommend that people watch it if you like that kind of show. And season 4 will be, if there is a season 4, it will be something entirely different, of course. But season 3, Impeachment, American Crime Story, it's very, very good. It slaps.
Last couple tidbits before we get out of here and clear up the campsite. We want to make sure that we thank both Tara Amstutz and Josh Hans for their wonderful contributions to the podcast. Thank you so much, guys.
And thank you to Cass and Crossland and Jake Corlang for the music that you hear on this show. We really do appreciate it.
And most of all, thank you to you, the listener, for without you, we'd just be talking and just talking. then that's just horrible. Without you guys, what is this all for? So thank you so much.
Without you guys, this would just be a phone call.
Yeah, that's true, actually. So thank you so much for listening. Continue to listen to all of our upcoming and new episodes. But of course, if you missed any in the past, go back and listen to them. They're all pretty timeless. They're all great. Lots of great games, lots of great guests, all in the old library for you to listen to. Make sure you hit that subscribe button on whether you're on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, pretty much anywhere you can find all of your favorite podcasts, except for Pandora, because we just don't roll like that. Screw you, Pandora.
Now you ain't ever gonna see ankles grosser than the ankles on a bear.